So today we're going to be ranking indie brands based on the eyeshadow palettes that I have in my collection or that I have tried. So this is not technically an eyeshadow palette ranking. I'm just ranking the indie brands by least favorite based on their formula to my all-time favorite that I've tried in my collection. It's been a little bit tricky, honestly. For the most part, I like all of the, I do enjoy all of these palettes in front of me, so I do like all of these indie brands. Like, in terms of the quality and the formula, I'm just gonna say none of them are terrible because they're still in my collection, and if they're still in my collection, then I still enjoy them. What I will just shout out is I'm not going to be ranking, obviously, BH Cosmetics. I do still have a couple of their palettes in my collection, but as they no longer exist, I'm not going to be ranking them as a brand. And I am just going to say, straight off the bat, my least favorite indie brand that I've tried, that I still have a couple of singles, is Odin's Eye. I'm sorry, it's just not the formula for me. So this is based on formula. It's not really necessarily based on anything else. It's not based on like the palette configuration, like the color story or anything like that, or what I feel about the brand, because there is, there's a few brands in here that are questionable. But yeah, this is just based on overall performance and my enjoyment of using their formula. So if you want to know what my ranking is, then I guess stay tuned. So in last place at the moment, with based on all of the palettes in my collection, I'm going to put Lunar Beauty. So I have two palettes from Lunar Beauty. I have Nude Prism and I also have Moon Shroom. Now, if this were a palette ranking, this one would probably be ranked pretty high just because I love the color story. I think it's a really interesting one, and it's the reason why I went and bought from Lunar Beauty when he released this. And then, it was shipping from America, so I was like, let me add more to my basket, and I ended up getting this one. But I just love the color story so much. The quality itself has always been a little bit of a bummer for me. I don't equate this formula to indie formula. I think this is very similar to mainstream formula, and I'm not trying to diss it at all. It's just, for me, when I use this palette, it doesn't feel like I'm using an indie brand. I think the mattes are really good. I think it's the shimmers. The shimmers are just not what I would expect from an indie brand based on all of the gorgeous indie brands that we all love and cherish and buy from. And there are so many that I still have yet to try. So this one, unfortunately, is not going to be ranked super high. I mean, this is the Nude Prism, very, very nude. I think it's probably the reason why I haven't really wanted to go into these all that much. So I'm going to put Lunar Beauty at the bottom. I'm very sorry, but it is what it is. Okay, moving on. Again, this is based on formula. It's not really based on my feeling of the brand necessarily, or the palettes that I have in my collection. But I'm going to put Gourmand Girls next. I do like these palettes, but if I'm honest with myself, this formula is not my favorite formula that I have tried. And I have two of their palettes obviously right now. I have the Peach Perfect, which is the first one that I got, and I got it because I love peach, and I just, like, the color story just drew me in, and then I ended up getting it, and I was like, oh, this is actually really nice. There's not a lot of kick up with the mattes. It is a very, very good formula, but it is different to a lot of the other indie brands that I have in my collection, and it's not different bad, but I think I've just realized that I prefer different types of shimmers. These shimmers are thick and beautiful. They really, really are, and you can really make gorgeous looks with them. But I think I've realized, and I realized this probably a few years ago, but I didn't know how Gourmand Girls was, and I'm always interested in trying new brands, so it is what it is. But I love the thin, topper, creamy, indie, duochromes. I love that. And yes, maybe they all flip purple, they all flip blue, or sometimes they all flip green. Like, maybe they're not that special at the end of the day. But these chunky shimmers, I really like, but they're not my favorite. And I think Gourmand Girls does it for the most part. Like, they have really, really beautiful formula. But if I'm going to be honest with myself, I don't think it's my all-time favorite. This is the other one I have, Cool Designs, which is the Mermaid palette. Now, don't get me wrong, these are stunning. but they're very chunky shades. These are very chunky shades, and they're kind of messy. They're kind of messy, but still pretty. So if you don't mind a little bit of mess, it's fine. Their mattes don't make a mess. They have no kick up whatsoever. The mattes are great. Shimmers are beautiful, but I think just overall, maybe because I have, you know, 30-plus-year-old eyelids. I don't know. I'm not 20 years old anymore, so maybe they just sit differently on my eyelids. There's just something about it that I don't enjoy as much as some other indie formulas. So I'm gonna rank this one here, even though I do like the brand. Like, that's why this ranking is kind of unfair. This one it's gonna be interesting. Okay, next up, I had to just double check some of these brands if they actually were considered indie brands, because I'm out of the loop. I don't necessarily know. And I see P. Louise release so many products. I feel like they're like the new makeup revolution, quite honestly, but they are still considered obviously UK indie brand. I only have one palette of theirs, and while I consider this one of my least favorite palettes in my collection because of the sheer size and the color story is not very inspiring to me, the formula is actually really good, but obviously I'm ranking it like pretty low in my collection. So I'm gonna rank P. Louise here. I haven't tried more from her, but quite honestly, I don't feel like I need to. I still have yet to use all the shades in this palette, and who knows if I actually will. Who knows if I will, but I mean, I do have a pan in here, and I do like the formula in here. Again though, it's not the type of formula that I just love from indie eyeshadow, but it is still pretty, right? So I can't take away that, and the mattes are fine. I mean, I think these are really pretty, and so I don't actually think there's anything wrong with this palette other than the fact that it's just monstrous and enormous, and you know, it just doesn't measure up with some of my other palettes in my collection in terms of like formula wise too. So yeah, I'm gonna be ranking it here, and I don't feel bad about that. Okay, next up, I've always said I love the formula of this brand, and I still do, but comparing it, like when I was looking at everything today, I have to just kind of remind myself what I really like to use. So that's why this one is ranked pretty low as well, but I'm gonna put Menagerie Cosmetics here. Now, I think their formula is outstanding. I really do. But because I like those really creamy, shimmery topper shades, they don't have them in these two palettes at least. And so they're not that type of formula that I just kind of melt towards. I just love that type of formula. So we have the Feral here, and I think they have really good mattes, really lovely pigment to them. They do have more kick up, obviously, and then their shimmers are nice and thick, and you get a lot of product in their palettes too. So I think in terms of like what you get based off the price, I think it's decent. This is the Killer Purr, which I really, really enjoy. I don't know, I think that they're really stunning palettes, but again, maybe I'm just ranking all these shimmers wrong. I don't know. But this is gorgeous. Like, you cannot deny that that is gorgeous. I mean, look at this copper, burnt orange yellow shade. Like, that just makes me want, and then it flips green as well. I just want to put that on my lids right now. Like, why haven't I used that more? That's the thing. I have so many pretty palettes and I don't go into them, and it's really, really annoying. It's just the reason why I'm trying really hard not to buy anything, because I just want to enjoy what I have before they go bad. And I feel like, you know, the longer I wait, the more palettes are gonna go bad. But anyway, I am ranking this one here, not because I don't enjoy Menagerie Cosmetics. I need to put it somewhere, so I'm putting it here. Okay, moving on, I'm going to put Sample Beauty. It's another one where I wasn't quite sure if it was an indie brand, but it is considered indie. This is the Equalizer Volume 2, the only palette that I have from theirs. And I like this. I think this is good. The reason why I wondered if this was indie is because I bought this on Beauty Bay, and I thought, well, if you're indie, then how do you, if you sell your products to a third party, is that still considered indie? But then I thought of Monolith, and then, you know, they have like all their palettes are indie brands. So I guess that went out the door. I'm gonna rank this one here. This is a palette that I feel like I don't talk about it too much. I mean, maybe a couple of years ago I spoke about it a little bit more. Recently I haven't really been using it that much, but I really enjoy the formula of this, and I think it's really decent and good. It's the only one I've tried though, so I'm a little bit wary because I only have the one palette, so I don't know if their formula is the same across the board. A lot of the times that doesn't happen, and then sometimes it does. So I'm going to rank this one here because I'm not entirely sure where they fall because of just the one palette, but I really do like the formula of these shimmers, and I think the mattes are decent. So, okay, moving on, this might upset some people, but I'm gonna put WhatsUp Beauty next. So I enjoy these palettes, but they're just not my favorite, and I think overall the formula is not my favorite just based on these ones. It's not that I don't like them, because I'm ranking them a little bit higher than some other palettes, but compared to what my preference is, they're just slightly not quite there, but they're still beautiful. So I feel a bit bad because WhatsUp Beauty's been super kind to me, but I gotta be honest. So we have the geodes, and I love these. When I say I love these palettes, I do. But I think what you have in these palettes is some gorgeous shimmers, and you do have some really good mattes, and they're all pigmented. They all work great. I can't fault it. There's just something about it. I don't know. Like when I swatch them, I'm like, oh, that's so pretty, you know? But they're not the super thin formulas, so some of them are a little bit chunky, and maybe that's just what it is, you know? It's just my preference. But then when I swatch them, they're pretty, right? So I can't deny that this formula is pretty. It's just not my favorite in my collection. I also have the Dragon's Eye. This one looks like this. This one is really pretty too, and has some gorgeous shades. I would say this one obviously was their most recent one. It still was, what, 2-3 years ago now. It's really pretty. Like, look at that. Look at that. Like, these are really, really pretty. But you don't get this type of formula in the geodes. I feel like the geodes has a slightly different type of formula to the Dragon's Eye. And then we also have the Monsoon, which I have very little use from. And I feel like, you know what it is? I feel like some of these shimmers are a little bit dry. I don't know. There's just something about it where it doesn't, I don't know, spark as much joy as some other formulas. So again, this is all based on formula, not on the brand, because I love the brand. I think the brand has been really lovely, and I think they release really nice products. But I'm going to rank WhatsUp Beauty here. Okay, moving on, I've got Alter Ego, so I had to double check if this was still considered indie brand. They do all the dupes, and yes, it is still considered indie brand. You know, this is not indie quality in a way that a lot of these other brands are. But I can't deny that I have enjoyed Alter Ego for as long as I've had these palettes, which is probably, what, 4 years now at this point. I have the Shadow Kiss, as you know. I love this palette. And this formula is not the thin topper shades that I've been talking about. It is not, but it's stunning. Like, there's nothing bad about this formula, and I just enjoy putting it on my eyes. So there's just something about it that I really enjoy. I also just, this one's also really, really pretty. I don't know, I like their formula so much, and I don't want to rank them lower because I just genuinely really enjoy their formula. So I'm ranking them here, and that is what it is. Okay, moving on, I am going to put the Flower Moon here. I only have one palette from this brand. I don't plan on buying more, but this one is my palette for the year. And you know what? I can't deny that the formula in this palette is beautiful and stunning. So if I had to, like, the way that I'm ranking this video, I have to be honest, I can't put this at the bottom, right? Based on like views or whatever. This is gorgeous. This formula, like these topper shades are stunning. Actually, that wasn't a topper shade, but some of these other ones are topper shades. This is just stunning. Like, this is that sort of wet indie formula that I like and love, and there's just something about it that it just makes me happy. It makes me happy. I can't say anything else about it. So I'm going to be ranking this one here. And then I have Glam Shop. I have 4 palettes from Glam Shop. I think Glam Shop is a brand that does both. So they have chunky shades and they have those thin, gorgeous indie shades, and their mattes are good too. So a lot of brands, they just focus on the shimmers and the mattes aren't as good, or maybe the mattes are really good, but the shimmers are a little weak. I feel like they do both really, really well. And I have 4 palettes, so I feel like I'm a good, you know, I'm a good judge. I'm a good judge for this brand. I really like other makeup products that they have as well. So yeah, this is definitely up there in terms of like a brand that I actually enjoy and of most of the items that I've tried. So yeah, like that one has a lot of chunky shades, and then you have palettes like this, which is a little bit more boring and muted, but it does have 3 special shades and it's just gorgeous, and it's like more everyday with a little bit of a twist. And then you have your more colorful ones, which are just fun. Just super fun, super beautiful. Some of these are like, they are very crumbly. So I would say they're messy for sure, but they're stunning. I mean, look at that. That's like, look at the blue in that. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah. Look at this. I should have ranked them higher. Look at that. That's crazy. They also have a lot of single shades. I haven't bought any of their singles, but look at that one. Do you see that? Can you see the difference? I don't know if you guys can spot the difference. Like, they're very, very beautiful. I should have ranked them higher. I should have ranked them higher. What was I thinking? This one should be much higher. Yeah, Glam Shop should be higher. Well, let's move on, but let's say Glam Shop should probably be a little bit higher, just based on, yeah, they always, you know what it is, whenever I use Glam Shop, it surprises me, and that's a really nice feeling. All right, so let's pretend that that one is higher, okay? Moving on, I'm gonna go with a new palette of mine. I only have 1 palette from Belle Beauty Bar. This is the Dark Dreamscape. I've been using this quite a bit over the last week and a half, and I will have a video about it really soon. I keep saying that, but I've been lazy about it. This is really pretty, and I really enjoyed doing different looks with it. It's really hard because I only have the 1 palette, so I can't imagine the formula is that different across the board, because everyone loves this brand, and they all said that I would really enjoy it, and I have really enjoyed this palette. But you know what? I'm gonna put Glam Shop actually ahead of this for sure. This one, yeah, this one. And now that I think about it, because I do have thoughts on some of the shades in here, I'm going to put this one actually underneath the Flower Moon. This one's going to go underneath the Flower Moon, but above the Ultra Ego. That's where I'm putting that one. So yeah, hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. Okay, and then we have the GeGe Signature Broken Jewels. So this one is also really hard for me to judge. I only have 1 palette of theirs, and I just got this, and I've only used it once. So this is probably lower than Glam Shop, but I didn't know where to put it, so I wanted to put it with the Dark Dreamscape, but I think I don't have any negative thoughts towards this. So maybe I do prefer the little bit more. I just don't know where to put it, because there's like shades in here that I have not tried. So how can I judge it? But yeah, these are beautiful. So I don't really know. This one's hard. This one is hard because I don't know where it falls. Let's say it falls just before Glam Shop. No, I'm going to put it, yeah, I'm going to put it where I had the Dark Dreamscape. Whatever, let's just do that, because I can't rank it. So, or maybe I don't rank it at all. I don't know. I'm all confused. This was hard to do before I started filming, and now I'm all confused. Yeah, I'm that Glam Shop thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then all right, next up, I'm going to rank Singe Beauty. I only have 1 palette of hers. I have been stopping myself buying all her releases. She's released like 3 new palettes since this one, I think, and I've just skipped all of them because I'm waiting for the perfect color story for me. And even the last one that she's released is not the perfect color story for me. So, you know, I'm just going to keep waiting until it makes sense for me to buy from her. But I do have the Galactic Visitor, because obviously I was very curious about what her formula was going to be like. I really enjoy her formula. And I'm gonna say I think I like Glam Shop better. So this one again is gonna be underneath. Oh, Glam Shop is just so good. But this is really pretty. Like I appreciate what she did. And I don't know what her other ones are like, but I like her formula. I really do. My hand is just all glittery though. So I think, yeah, they're the type of shades that I really enjoy, but I think Glam Shop actually is better because they're a little bit more sparkly and brighter. So I'm actually going to put this underneath Glam Shop. So just to recap, because I'm a total nutcase. Okay, I'm going to put this one before Flower Moon. All right, so after the Alter Ego, we're going to have Belle Beauty Bar. Then we're going to have DD Signature. Then we're going to have NZ Rain. Then we're going to have Singe Beauty. And then we're going to have Glam Shop. Hopefully I tied that up. Okay, moving on. We only have 4 brands left. 4 brands left. Okay, so this was very difficult, and I'll get to it in a moment why it was so difficult. But in 4th place, so Glam Shop is 5th place, which is not bad. So it's like top 5. Okay, so in 4th place, we have my biggest collection by far, and it is Gloss Gods. I went a bit mad and crazy a couple years ago, and also last year I just kept buying all their releases, and then I kind of stopped because I didn't like the direction that the brand was kind of going towards. I didn't really enjoy some of the things that they were doing like ethically, but their palettes are very pretty, and I have so many of them that I kind of also just felt like I didn't need to keep buying them, right? Because I kind of have all the shades now. Yeah, I have a lot of palettes. We'll quickly go through them. I don't have all of them. So when I first tried Gloss Gods, I think it was the first indie brand that I had tried that really wowed me and was like, oh, this is very different to other mainstream formula that I have been trying and, you know, enjoying. Like, this is gorgeous. Like, those thin topper creamy shades. This is, I think, where, oh my gosh, this is where my love for that grew, right? Or came about. So I have two of these. I have the peach pop and I have the green pop. They also have like 3 others. I think they have a blue one, a purple one, and a pink one. The green one is really good. And then the peach one was not so good. And I think that's really kind of where I started to realize I don't love everything about what they do. Because they're not perfect. So, you know how I said some brands have gorgeous shimmers and gorgeous mattes? I think Gloss Gods is hit and miss with their mattes. So, for instance, like the Peach Pop mattes were absolutely terrible. Molten Metals is one where they have really good shimmers and really good mattes, and this is a really good neutral palette, but with some gorgeous metallics. None of these are duochromes or toppers or anything like that. This is a different type of formula to what they kind of release, and it's more of a palette that I guess any person can wear. So it was kind of a smart choice on their part. And then I also have, I'm going to try to put these in order of their theme if I can find everything. I have all of their planet ones. So we have Gal on Mars, which is pink, purple, and sort of reddish. Very pretty, all shimmers. I also have Gal on Jupiter, which has some mattes, and this one, by far one of my favorite palettes in my collection. It is absolutely stunning. I mean, look at that. You have this, which is beautiful, but look at these two. Like, look at that. It's like metal. It's just delicious. It's delicious, delicious. Anyway, got that one. Got the Gal on the Moon, which is really nice, but this is another all shimmer palette, but gorgeous. And then Gal on Venus, which has some mattes, and these are like chunky shades. They got some chunky shades, but also some topper shades, so they do mix it up a little bit. And then I have some neutral palettes from this. I've got the Let's Get Nude, which is more of a warm tone, nude palette, and then I have the new neutrals, which looks like this, and it's a little bit more cool tone. It has like flips of green. Somebody said this looked really ugly, but actually it does some really gorgeous looks, so thank you very much. And then we have this one, What's Your Power? This is a colorful, this was like limited edition, I think, but it was a very colorful sort of rainbow-esque palette of theirs. This is where their mattes really don't shine, because the shimmers in this one were really beautiful, and then the matte formula was a little bit weaker. I know pastels is a little bit harder to do, but it kind of just showed it was quite a bit weaker. I've also got Vintage Glam. This is really, really beautiful, especially obviously for Valentine's Day. This is currently was pulled from my Shop My Stash, and so I want to be going into this a little bit more. And then I also have 3 more. I've got the Color of Rain, which has, this one has a black matte and then all shimmer. And then I've got Dancing in this, I have a lot, sorry. Dancing in the Sky, which is just beautiful. Another all shimmer palette, and it's just like stunning and gorgeous. And then the last one that I have is the Look for Rainbows, which again, all shimmer, but absolutely stunning and pretty. And like the type of shades that I like I'm not really swatching them because I've swatched them so much, and I think if you know me, you know how boring I am with this brand because I just like go on about it. I would say I still think Glam Shop and Gloss Gods have similar formula. It's just Glam Shop does mattes better, so maybe I like Glam Shop better. I don't really know. It's just I have so many from Gloss Gods, it's hard to choose. So yeah, I would say Gloss Gods would be my 4th favorite. I'm going to put this next one 3rd place, and it is going to be Cosmic Beauty, because I think at the end of the day, Cosmic Beauty does way better mattes, and their shimmers are really pretty. They have normal standard shimmers, and then they also have duochromes as well. And I just think because their matte formula is a little bit better and easier to work with than some of the Gloss Gods ones. And I don't even have that many Gloss Gods matte shades, because a lot of their palettes are all shimmers, and I think it's because they know that their mattes aren't as good. But with Cosmic Beauty, they have a good mixture of all of them. So I'll just go through them. I have quite a bit, but I don't have all of them. I have 'Tis the Season, which is my newest one. And I think also, we're not talking about color stories in this video, but I think their color stories are really fun, and they're attractive to me, so they make me want to use the palette. But yeah, this one, obviously, we have mattes and shimmers scattered across the board, and I just think they're very easy to work with. I think some indie formula is harder to work with, especially if it's super flaky shimmers, and it just sort of goes everywhere. This is the Lovers, which I got last year, and this one, in terms of formula-wise, still really beautiful. I've also got the Muse, which I was just lusting over the color story for so long. I finally got it, and this one is really, it's got some really interesting shades. Like I want to, I don't know, maybe we shout out some pretty shades in here, but this one really does, I mean, maybe not that purple, but I don't know. I think, if I have to be honest, I think they do have better formula to Gloss Gods. Do they have better formula to Glam Shop? I don't know. I think the tricky thing with Glam Shop shimmers, especially if they're flaky, is they do tend to make a mess. And then I've got neutrals from Cosmic Beauty, which again, I think is really, really pretty and stunning. Very, very warm tone though. If you don't like warm tone, this is not the right palette for you. If you are into warm tones, it is. And then Delicious Delights, which is one of my most colorful palettes. And I just think this is really fun to use. Now this one is the only palette of theirs that I have where I feel like there's 2 shades that are not quite as good as others. So you have Candy Floss and Fizzy, and I feel like they're not as good as some of their other shimmers. So I don't know if it was just a formula issue or I got a bad batch or whatever, but I always found that those two weren't as good. But because I have so many other palettes from them, I'm able to really see that's the only palette where I have some dud shades. I also have the Serenity, which was one of my first palettes of theirs, and I think this one is really fun too. So yeah, I've just had a lot of fun with this formula, and I just think it's easy to work with, which for me personally, I don't want to have to work for my eyeshadow. I want my eyeshadow to just do its job and for me to not spend an hour doing it. Okay, then we only have 2 brands left. Now, I want to preface this by saying the next one that I'm going to speak about is Glaminatrix. Now, I have 2 of their palettes, and the formula in these 2 are different from each other. So it's really hard for me to rank this. I have Rich Romantic, which is my favorite formula and just absolutely stunning. And I thought that this was going to be the same as what they have in the Nearly Natural, but the formula in Nearly Natural is different to Rich Romantic. The shimmers in this one are outstanding. The shimmers in this one are pretty, but they're not outstanding. So I have a feeling that this is unique to most of their palettes, which is unfortunate. So the only reason that they're number 2 is because of the Rich Romantic formula and quality, which I very much love and enjoy. Like, I just love these shades so much, and they're like wet and gorgeous and just delicious. Like, these shades are delicious, and then you have this chunky one that you can use for, like, look at that. I mean, gorgeous. I just did this over the green though, so it's whatever. So where do I rank this one? I ranked it 2 based on the fact that I think this quality, like, they can do this quality, then this is stunning for them. I don't know why they don't have it in their other palettes too. Maybe it's just too expensive. I don't know. But I'm ranking it number 2 because I genuinely love the formula of the Rich Romantic. I like the formula of Nearly Natural. If I had more palettes of theirs and it was more like Nearly Natural, this, unfortunately, this brand would fall right down to like the middle of the ranking. Because I just don't think this is outstanding to me compared to what I enjoy personally. But I'm ranking it here because that's what I want to do. Who knows? I might get another Glaminatrix palette because they've had some really pretty ones. I might get one of the smaller ones just to test it out and see. But yeah, I'm ranking that one there. And then number 1 is no surprise to anybody who knows me. I am going to rank Lethal Cosmetics as number 1. I only have their Avatar series, so I'm very, 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 very biased. I haven't experienced the old quality that they have, and apparently this is more like their updated, newer formula, and this is beautiful. Like, I can't fault any of these palettes. I can't fault the mattes, and I cannot fault the shimmers. So I'm very happy that I finally tried Lethal when they were doing their thing and they were getting things right, because it's just so beautiful. Like, that's the red one. And then let's do the green one, because I always swatch the other ones. Let's do the green one. Oh my goodness. And they do have chunky shades. Like, they have some real chunky shades, but I like their chunky shades. So look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh my goodness. Okay, and then, you know, I've been wanting to do swatch party videos, just like swatching all of the blues in my collection, all of the greens in my collection. Let me know how I could do that, because that would take me so long to do, I think, but it's something that I really want to do, and I don't know, let me know if it's something that you want to see, but I love this formula. So this is like wet looking, but they're not super thin. Some of them are chunky. I don't know, there's just something about it that works. They did an amazing job with this collection, and that's all I'm gonna say. If I had more palettes from them and they weren't this formula, I would rank it probably differently, but it is what it is. That's what I'm ranking. That was all of the indie brands that I have in terms of eyeshadow formula that I have tried and I still own. and that is my ranking of them. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!